The Silent Watcher. The Galactic Empire was vast, spanning thousands of star systems, each controlled with precision and power. Its fleets were unmatched, its technology centuries ahead of most civilizations. To the Empire, expanding its reach was as natural as breathing. Yet, when their probes entered the Sol system, they found something unexpected. A small blue planet teeming with life. They called it Planet 237, but its inhabitants knew it as Earth. Earth wasn't remarkable at first glance. Its people lacked the ability to travel between stars. Their weapons were primitive compared to the Empire's plasma arsenals. Their cities looked fragile, scattered across the surface like toys. High Commander Xiron, the leader of the Imperial fleet, dismissed Earth as insignificant. Yet protocol demanded observation before any action. The Empire never acted without understanding its target. Xiron sent an advanced probe, a cloaked machine the size of a housefly, to monitor Earth. It silently floated through the atmosphere, recording everything. The way humans fought, how they built, and how they thrived despite constant conflict. The probe captured wars, scientific breakthroughs, and moments of compassion that puzzled the Empire's analysts. For weeks, the probe remained unnoticed, gathering data and transmitting it back to the Empire. To the humans, it was invisible, but not to Dr. Maria Jensen. Maria was a brilliant astrophysicist, though most of her colleagues considered her ideas eccentric. She worked alone in a small observatory on the outskirts of Iceland, away from the distractions of modern life. One cold evening, as she monitored radio signals from deep space, she noticed something strange. An unusual pattern in Earth's upper atmosphere. It wasn't natural. It was precise, like a whisper in the void. At first, Maria thought it was a satellite malfunction or interference from human technology. But as she analyzed the signal, she realized it was nothing like anything she'd ever encountered. It was alien. Her heart raced. Could it be a transmission from another world? She knew how ridiculous it sounded, but the data didn't lie. Something, or someone, was watching Earth. Determined to uncover the truth, Maria stayed up all night, analyzing the signal. She mapped its frequency, decoded fragments of its structure, and found something chilling. The signal wasn't random. It was a warning. The words were faint, incomplete, but unmistakable. Earth is under observation. Prepare. Maria felt a wave of dread. Was this a message for humanity? Or a threat? She recorded her findings and sent urgent emails to her contacts in the scientific community. Most ignored her, dismissing her claims as paranoia. But Maria couldn't let it go. She knew what she had found was real. Meanwhile, in the Empire's capital ship, High Commander Xiron reviewed the probe's data. His analysts were perplexed by humanity. On the surface, Earth's inhabitants seemed primitive, divided by petty conflicts. Yet the more the Empire studied them, the more contradictions they found. Humans were reckless and destructive, yet capable of incredible ingenuity. They fought each other constantly, yet came together in moments of crisis. They were unpredictable, and that made them dangerous. High Commander, said one of Xiron's advisors, this species is unlike any we've encountered. They thrive on chaos. Their history shows a pattern of survival against impossible odds. Xiron frowned. He was not a man easily impressed, but even he could see the uniqueness of Earth's inhabitants. Are they a threat? He asked. Potentially, the advisor replied. Their technology is no match for ours, but if they were to unite, their resilience could be problematic. Xiron laughed coldly. They are divided. They cannot unite. This planet will fall like all the others. Back on Earth, Maria's frustration grew. She had proof of alien surveillance, but no one believed her. One night, as she stared at her data, she noticed something new. The signal had changed. It wasn't just observing anymore. It was transmitting. She quickly tuned her equipment, and her screen filled with a new message. They are coming. Maria froze. Who was coming? And what did they want? She realized she couldn't keep this to herself any longer. She contacted a secretive government organization rumored to handle extraterrestrial threats. To her surprise, they responded immediately, sending a team to her observatory within hours. As Maria explained her findings, the team listened carefully. Their leader, a stern man named Colonel Hayes, confirmed her worst fears. "We've been tracking anomalies like this for years," he admitted, "but this is the first time we've received a direct message. If what you found is true, Earth is in grave danger." Maria's mind raced. If the Empire was watching Earth, what were they waiting for? She knew humanity wasn't ready for an invasion. They needed time to prepare. But how could they fight against a force they didn't even understand? As the night stretched on, Maria couldn't shake the feeling that something monumental was about to happen. The silent watcher in the sky wasn't just observing anymore. It was preparing to strike. Cliffhanger. As the team discussed their next steps, Maria's equipment suddenly detected a massive object entering Earth's orbit. The signal spiked, louder and clearer than ever before. The words on the screen sent a chill down her spine. First contact imminent. Humanity's hidden potential. Maria stared at her screen as the words "first contact imminent" blinked ominously. The air in her observatory felt heavier, as though the weight of an entire planet's fate pressed against her chest. Colonel Hayes and his team exchanged nervous glances. They were trained for emergencies, but nothing like this. "Do you have a timeline?" Hayes asked, his voice steady but tinged with urgency. Maria shook her head. If they're in orbit, it could be hours or minutes. Outside, the Icelandic night was eerily quiet, the auroras above flickering in greens and purples. But Maria's mind was racing. She thought of the signal she intercepted, the probe's transmission to its masters. "They've been watching us for weeks, maybe longer. Why now?" Above Earth, cloaked in the void, the first wave of the Empire's fleet drifted into position. It wasn't a full invasion force, merely a reconnaissance group. But even these few ships were more advanced than anything humanity could imagine. Their purpose wasn't conquest yet, it was assessment. High Commander Xiron observed Earth from his command deck, an emotionless expression etched onto his sharp features. His advisors provided updates on the probe's findings. "Primitive yet chaotic," one said. "Their technology is a century behind ours, but their adaptability is troubling. Troubling." Xiron raised an eyebrow. "They evolve quickly, Commander," the advisor explained. "Every setback in their history has led to innovations that outpaced expectation. Individually, they are weak. Collectively, they are dangerous." Xiron turned his gaze back to the holographic projection of Earth. "Dangerous or not, they are unworthy of independence. Let them prove their mettle. Send the emissary." Meanwhile, Maria and Hayes coordinated a secret alert system. No one wanted to cause global panic, but preparations had to be made. The task force activated long-dormant protocols for alien threats. Countries that rarely cooperated were brought into tense negotiations. But amidst the chaos, Maria found herself fixated on a question. Why would an advanced civilization care about us? Her thoughts were interrupted by Hayes, who had been speaking to his team. "Maria," he said, drawing her attention, "we've intercepted something. A message, not unlike yours, but it's coming directly from orbit." "What does it say?" Maria asked. "It's an invitation. They want to meet." Across the world, as news of the strange celestial phenomenon leaked, fear and speculation gripped humanity. The skies seemed quieter, darker. In remote places, animals acted strangely, howling, fleeing, or freezing in place. In the largest cities, governments struggled to keep their people calm. Rumors of aliens spread faster than officials could deny them. Yet, Maria knew the truth was inevitable. The only question was how Earth would handle it. Hayes and Maria watched a live feed from one of Earth's satellites. The object in orbit shimmered briefly, revealing itself to be a sleek alien ship unlike anything human eyes had ever seen. It was massive but graceful, almost biological in design, its metallic surface pulsing faintly with light. Suddenly, the ship emitted a beam of energy, striking the Pacific Ocean. But instead of causing destruction, the beam created a swirling column of light, a portal. Moments later, a smaller craft emerged, descending slowly toward Earth. "They're coming," Maria whispered. Her voice barely carried over the tense silence in the room. The emissary's ship landed on a barren plain in Nevada, chosen for its isolation. Military forces surrounded it immediately, though their weapons felt inadequate against something so alien. Hayes, Maria, and a small delegation approached cautiously. From the ship emerged a tall figure clad in smooth, reflective armor. The being radiated an aura of command, its movements precise and deliberate. Its face, hidden behind a mask, offered no clue to its emotions. A device on its chest projected its voice into the air, cold, mechanical, and devoid of warmth. "I am Envoy Virak, speaking on behalf of the Galactic Empire," it said. "Earth is now under observation. Your choices will determine your future." The crowd murmured, but Hayes stepped forward. "What choices?" he demanded. Virak tilted its head. "Surrender and be integrated into the Empire's structure, benefiting from our guidance and protection, or resist and face eradication." Maria felt a chill run down her spine. It was clear this wasn't negotiation. It was a declaration. That night, as Earth's leaders debated in secret, Maria studied the signal again. Something about it nagged at her, a sense that there was more to it than she'd realized. Using advanced algorithms, she isolated fragments of data the probe had sent back to the Empire. And that's when she found it. Among the streams of surveillance, the probe had flagged certain moments in human history. Revolutions, world wars, scientific breakthroughs, and acts of defiance. It wasn't just studying humanity. It was fascinated by their tenacity. To the Empire, humans weren't just primitive. They were unpredictable. Dangerous because they didn't follow the patterns of other conquered species. Maria's heart raced as she pieced it together. The Empire wasn't just here to conquer, it was afraid. Cliffhanger. At dawn, Maria receives an encrypted transmission from an unknown source. The voice is neither human nor alien, but ancient and powerful. Its message: "The Empire fears you for a reason. You have what they cannot control. Find the key, or all is lost." The Empire's arrival. The rising sun cast long shadows across the Nevada desert, but the emissary's presence overshadowed everything. Envoy Virak stood unmoving, awaiting humanity's response. Earth's leaders had no answer. Not yet. How could they? The Empire's ultimatum was absolute, their power unthinkable. Maria, back at the command center, replayed the mysterious transmission over and over. "The Empire fears you for a reason. You have what they cannot control. Find the key, or all is lost." The voice was neither human nor mechanical, resonating with an eerie ancient tone. Maria couldn't shake the feeling that it wasn't just a warning. It was a challenge. But what did it mean? Above Earth, the Empire's reconnaissance fleet prepared for the next phase of their operation. The mothership, a massive construct the size of a small moon, remained cloaked in orbit, silently directing smaller craft to strategic locations across the planet. These ships descended with chilling precision, landing in oceans, remote jungles, and atop mountain ranges. Unlike the emissary's ship, these vessels didn't wait for diplomacy. They began deploying drones, machines designed for rapid assessment and control. The drones swarmed silently, scanning Earth's terrain, cities, and infrastructure. Humanity had become prey under their cold, calculating gaze. Maria, desperate for answers, turned to Colonel Hayes. "This message," she said, showing him the decrypted audio file. "It's not from the Empire. Someone, or something, wants to help us." Hayes furrowed his brow. "If that's true, why be so cryptic? Find the key." "What key?" "I don't know," Maria admitted, her voice trembling. But if the Empire fears us, it's because of something unique to humanity, something they can't predict. Hayes nodded slowly. We need to figure this out fast. Their drones are already moving. We've picked up activity near military bases and nuclear sites. Nuclear sites. Maria's mind raced. That's it. They're studying our weapons. They think brute force is all we have. Meanwhile, in a remote region of Siberia, a group of soldiers stationed near an abandoned radar facility made a terrifying discovery. One of the Empire's drones had landed, unfolding into a spindly tower-like structure that began emitting low-frequency pulses. The men watched in horror as their electronics failed. Vehicles, communications, even watches. The air grew heavy, and then came the light, a blinding pulse that melted steel and turned the facility into a smoldering crater. The Empire wasn't just observing anymore. They were testing. As reports of the drone's destructive capabilities poured in, panic spread across the globe. Governments scrambled to respond, but their weapons were ineffective. Missiles detonated harmlessly against the drone's energy shields. Fighter jets were swatted from the sky like insects. Maria, watching the chaos unfold, realized the truth. The Empire wasn't looking to conquer Earth's resources or enslave its people. They wanted something deeper, control over the unpredictable. To them, Earth wasn't a battlefield. It was an experiment. Her thoughts were interrupted by an alert on her computer. The encrypted transmission had a second layer of data, coordinates. Hayes, Maria called out. I got something. Coordinates in Antarctica. Hayes didn't hesitate. Within hours, Maria and a small team boarded a military aircraft bound for the icy wastelands of Antarctica. The coordinates led to a region buried under miles of ice, far from any human settlement. As the team flew over the frozen expanse, Maria felt a strange sense of déjà vu, as if she had seen this place before in a dream. When they landed, the cold was biting, and the silence was unnerving. The team set up scanners, but they didn't need them for long. The ice beneath their feet began to crack, and a faint hum filled the air. Something's here, Maria whispered. The ground trembled, and the ice split open, revealing the cavernous void below. Inside was a structure that defied explanation, smooth, metallic, and glowing faintly with an inner light. It was ancient yet pristine, as if it had been waiting for this moment. Maria and the team descended into the cavern, their flashlights cutting through the darkness. The structure's interior pulsed with life, responding to their presence. Symbols and patterns lit up on the walls, too alien to decipher but strangely familiar to Maria. As they moved deeper, Maria felt drawn to a central chamber. In its center was a pedestal, and on it rested a device that looked like a sphere made of interlocking rings. It vibrated faintly, emitting a soft hum that resonated in Maria's chest. This must be it, she said, her voice barely audible. The key. Hayes frowned. What does it do? Before Maria could answer, the sphere reacted to her touch. The rings began to spin, and a holographic figure appeared, a being of light and shadow. Its voice echoed in their minds, not their ears. You are late, it said. They are already here. The first strike. The holographic figure hovered above the glowing sphere, its presence filling the cavern with a gravity that pressed on Maria's chest. The others stood frozen, unsure whether to trust or fear this ancient being. Its question echoed in Maria's mind. Are you prepared to sacrifice half your world to save the other? Maria clenched her fists. There has to be another way. The figure's voice was cold and calculating. Time is not on your side. The Empire underestimates you, but their patience is thin. This device, it gestured to the sphere, will amplify your world's natural chaos, an energy they cannot counter, but it will destabilize the balance of your planet. The choice is yours. Before Maria could respond, Colonel Hayes's communicator buzzed urgently. A distant voice crackled through, filled with panic. This is command. The Empire has begun their attack. Major cities are under fire. We're losing control. Above Earth, the Empire's fleet shifted into position. High Commander Xiran had seen enough of humanity's potential. Their resistance, though feeble, was persistent, and that persistence was dangerous. It was time for the first strike, a show of power to crush humanity's spirit. The Empire's mothership targeted New York City, not because it was a military hub, but because it was a symbol, a beacon of human achievement and resilience. With a single command, a beam of energy lanced through the atmosphere, striking the city's core. Buildings crumbled, the sky turned red, and the once vibrant metropolis fell silent. The world watched in horror as the news spread. Humanity's weapons, no matter how advanced, had no effect. The Empire was unstoppable, or so it seemed. In the Antarctic cavern, Maria trembled as she heard the reports. The devastation was unimaginable, yet she couldn't shake the words of the holographic being. "They underestimate you." "What are we missing?" Maria muttered, pacing. "There's something they don't understand about us, something they can't predict." Hayes stepped forward. "Maria, whatever that thing is, it just gave us a choice. If this key can give us a fighting chance, we have to use it." "But the cost," Maria began, her voice cracking. Hayes interrupted. "The cost is meaningless if we lose everything." The team worked quickly to analyze the sphere, its strange energy humming louder as the Empire's attacks escalated. The holographic figure guided them, revealing that the device was not merely a weapon but a catalyst. It could unleash Earth's hidden potential, tapping into the planet's electromagnetic fields and amplifying the chaotic energy that defined humanity's resilience. Maria had a realization. The Empire doesn't understand chaos. They control everything, every system, every action. But humans, we thrive in unpredictability. It's what they fear most. The holographic figure nodded. "Chaos is your strength, but it is also your greatest risk. The device will amplify this energy, creating a planetary wave that disrupts their technology. However, the fallout will be severe." "What kind of fallout?" Hayes demanded. "Earthquakes, tsunamis, entire regions rendered uninhabitable." The room fell silent. Was it worth the risk? As the team deliberated, the Empire launched a second strike. This time, it wasn't a single city but multiple targets: London, Tokyo, Rio de Janeiro. The world burned under the Empire's precision. Humanity's unity began to fracture under the weight of hopelessness. In the ruins of New York, however, something unexpected happened. Survivors fought back, not with weapons but with ingenuity. They used hacked drones to disrupt the Empire's reconnaissance units, turning the invaders' own technology against them. The resistance spread like wildfire, fueled by humanity's refusal to give up. Maria watched the reports with growing determination. "This is what they don't understand," she said, pointing to the screen. "Even in the face of destruction, we adapt. We fight." She turned to Hayes and the others. "We have to activate the sphere. If we don't, there won't be anything left to fight for." The team prepared to activate the sphere, but the process wasn't straightforward. The device required a unique energy source, something only humans could provide. The holographic figure explained that the sphere fed on emotional energy: fear, hope, rage, and determination. It was humanity's collective spirit that would power it. "Are you saying we have to feel it?" Maria asked, incredulous, the figure's glowing eyes fixed on her. "Yes. You must unify your world, not in weaponry, but in purpose. Only then will the device reach its full potential." Maria sent a desperate message to the Global Task Force, urging them to broadcast a message to humanity. Her voice, trembling but resolute, echoed across every screen and radio. "This is Maria Jensen. I know you're afraid. I know you feel powerless. But we are not powerless. We are human. And our greatest strength is our ability to fight for each other, even when all hope seems lost. Stand together, and we can turn the tide." Her words sparked a wave of emotion across the planet. People rallied, not with weapons but with defiance. Cities under siege formed human barricades, hacking Empire drones and sabotaging their operations. It wasn't much, but it was enough to shift the balance. The sphere began to glow brighter, vibrating with a hum that grew louder as humanity's spirit surged. Maria placed her hands on the device, feeling its energy pulse through her. Cliffhanger. As the sphere activated, the ground shook violently, and a massive wave of energy erupted from the Antarctic cavern, spreading across the globe. Empire ships faltered, their systems failing, but the planet itself began to destabilize. Maria looked to Hayes with tears in her eyes. "We've unleashed it. Now we have to survive it." Humanity fights back. The wave of energy released from the sphere radiated outward like a pulse of raw chaos. As it spread across the globe, the immediate effects were catastrophic. Empire ships in orbit flickered, their shields failing as systems short-circuited. On the ground, the drones froze mid-action, crashing into buildings or collapsing like lifeless statues. But the cost to Earth was immense. The energy destabilized the planet's magnetic field, triggering a chain reaction of natural disasters. Earthquakes rippled across continents, sun emissions rose like walls of fury, and power grids across the globe plunged into darkness. Maria and Hayes clung to the walls of the Antarctic cavern as tremors shook the ground. The glowing sphere began to dim, its energy spent. Maria could barely hear herself think over the roaring wind and groaning earth, but amidst the chaos, she noticed something incredible. The holographic figure still hovered, unfazed. "Why isn't it over?" Maria shouted at the being. The figure's voice cut through the noise, calm and foreboding. "The disruption is only the beginning. The Empire's forces are weakened, but they will adapt. The next phase depends on you." "What next phase?" Hayes demanded. "Your species must do what it has never done before. Act as one." Above Earth, High Commander Xiron gripped the railing of his flagship as the ship's systems faltered. The energy pulse had disrupted their advanced tech in ways the Empire hadn't anticipated. For the first time in his career, Xiron felt a flicker of doubt. "Status report," he barked. An officer, struggling to keep his console operational, replied, "Commander, the pulse has compromised all reconnaissance units. Atmospheric craft are down. The fleet's shields are at 20%. Xiron clenched his jaw. "And the planet? Their chaos. It's spreading. They're using it to their advantage." Xiron sneered. "Then we escalate. Prepare the second wave." On the surface, humanity's ingenuity began to shine. The electromagnetic disruption had rendered traditional weapons useless, but humans adapted quickly. Hackers repurposed the Empire's drones, reprogramming them to attack their former masters. Engineers jury-rigged power systems, creating makeshift EMP weapons using salvaged alien tech. In the rubble of New York, a group of survivors commandeered a disabled Empire walker, turning it into a mobile fortress. Similar scenes unfolded across the world as humanity fought back with creativity and determination. Maria watched the reports from a hastily established communication hub in the cavern. The sight of humanity's resilience filled her with hope, but it was tempered by the realization that the Empire's retaliation would be swift and merciless. The holographic figure reappeared, its tone colder than before. "Your defiance impresses, but it is not enough. The Empire's strength lies not in its technology, but in its unity. You must become more than individuals." Maria frowned. "How are we supposed to unify? The world's in chaos." The figure extended a glowing hand toward the sphere. "This device can amplify more than chaos. It can connect. Through it, your species can share thought, emotion, purpose, a single, united mind." Hayes recoiled. "You're talking about some kind of hive mind. That's insane." Maria hesitated, but it might be the only way. The figure tilted its head. "Your species thrives on individuality, but individuality has limits. You must choose, remain divided and perish, or unite and overcome." The debate was cut short as a blinding light filled the cavern. Maria shielded her eyes as a hologram of Chiron appeared before them, projected from a surviving Empire drone. His cold, calculating gaze swept over the humans. "Your resistance is remarkable," Chiron said, his voice dripping with contempt. "But futile. You have forced my hand." Maria stepped forward, trembling but defiant. "You're afraid of us. That's why you're here, isn't it? Because we're not like the others you've conquered." Chiron's expression didn't waver. "Your chaos is inconvenient, but no amount of defiance will change your fate. Your planet will burn." The transmission ended abruptly, and moments later, reports flooded in. Empire ships were repositioning above the largest surviving cities. Their intention was clear: total destruction. Maria turned to the sphere, her mind racing. The holographic figure's words haunted her: "Unite or perish." She placed her hands on the sphere, feeling its faint hum. What if we use it to connect people? To share what makes us human? Our fear, our hope, our will to survive. Hayes looked skeptical. "You think humanity's emotions are going to stop a fleet of warships?" "No," Maria said, determination hardening her voice. "But if we can amplify that connection, we can turn chaos into strategy. We can fight as one." The team scrambled to reactivate the sphere, recalibrating it to act as a planetary network. It wasn't perfect, but it was their only shot. As the sphere powered up, Maria felt a surge of energy. Across the globe, people paused as a strange sensation washed over them. A sense of connection, as though they could feel each other's thoughts and emotions. Fear and despair were there, but so were courage and defiance. For the first time, humanity was truly united. A race against time. The connection forged by the sphere was unlike anything humanity had ever experienced. Across the globe, people felt a profound unity, not of control, but of understanding. Scientists in Tokyo shared ideas seamlessly with engineers in Berlin. Survivors in New York coordinated effortlessly with fighters in the Amazon. It was as if the entire species had become a single organism, driven by the will to survive. Maria sat near the sphere, its glow pulsating like a heartbeat. The weight of billions of minds coursed through her. She could feel their pain, fear, and hope. It was overwhelming, but also empowering. For the first time, humanity wasn't fighting alone. Above Earth, High Commander Chiron observed the shift with growing unease. The chaos he had exploited was no longer a weakness. The humans' unpredictable nature had coalesced into something the Empire had never encountered: collective will. "Commander," an officer said, his voice tinged with panic, "their planetary network is disrupting our systems. The fleet's cohesion is failing." Chiron clenched his fists. "Then we escalate. Deploy the Singularity Lance." The officer hesitated. "The Lance will devastate their planet, Commander. There will be nothing left to conquer." Chiron's eyes burned with cold resolve. "A shattered world is better than a defiant one. Execute the order." Back on Earth, Maria and Colonel Hayes monitored the sky as reports of the Empire's repositioning came in. Their largest ship, a colossal vessel that dwarfed even the mothership, moved into a low orbit. It began charging its primary weapon, the Singularity Lance, a device capable of collapsing matter into a gravitational singularity. Maria's breath caught in her throat as the readings came through. "If they fire that thing, it'll rip the planet apart." Hayes tightened his grip on his rifle. "We've got to stop it. How much power does the sphere have left?" Maria looked at the holographic figure, who seemed unbothered by the rising stakes. "The sphere's energy is dwindling," it said. "To counter the Lance, it must tap deeper into your species' collective strength. The risk grows with every second." "What kind of risk?" Hayes asked, narrowing his eyes. The figure's gaze fixed on him. "The human connection is fragile. If overwhelmed, it could fracture, leaving your species broken, physically and mentally." Maria's heart pounded. Then we have no choice. We push the sphere to its limit. Across the world, humanity prepared for a final stand. Civilians joined fighters, hackers worked tirelessly to breach the Empire's systems, and entire nations pooled their remaining resources into a desperate gambit. The connection through the sphere allowed ideas to flow like wildfire. A group of teenagers in Mumbai designed a program that exploited the Empire's AI flaws. A mechanic in Detroit rigged a salvaged alien drone to carry an EMP device. Farmers in rural Africa used repurposed tools to disrupt ground-based drones. Every action, no matter how small, became part of a larger plan. As the Empire's lance charge, Maria and Hayes coordinated the global response. They had one shot: to use the sphere's amplified energy to destabilize the lance before it fired. The problem was timing. If they acted too soon, the Empire could adapt. Too late, and Earth would be destroyed. "We need a diversion," Maria said, her mind racing. "Something to keep the fleet occupied while we target the lance." "I might have an idea," Hayes said, pulling up a map. "There's an abandoned missile silo in Alaska. It's offline, but if we rig it to launch and broadcast false telemetry, it might look like we're launching a counterattack." Maria nodded. "It's risky, but it could work. Let's do it." As the silo came online, the false telemetry flooded the Empire's sensors. Xiron's fleet adjusted, diverting resources to intercept the perceived threat. It bought humanity precious time, but not enough. The lance was seconds away from firing. Maria placed her hands on the sphere, feeling its energy surge. She spoke to the holographic figure. "How do we stop it?" The figure's voice softened, almost empathetic. "The lance's power source is tethered to its command vessel. Sever that connection, and the weapon collapses." "But how do we sever it?" Maria demanded. The figure's light dimmed slightly. "Through you." Maria felt a jolt as the sphere's energy surged into her body, connecting her to the entire planet. She could feel every mind, every thought, every heartbeat. She became the conduit for humanity's collective will. Above, the lance prepared to fire, its energy building to a crescendo. Maria focused, channeling the sphere's energy toward the Empire's fleet. The connection between the lance and its command vessel flickered, strained, then snapped. The lance imploded in a burst of light, taking several Empire ships with it. High Commander Xiron staggered as the shockwave rattled his flagship. His officers shouted reports of failing systems and structural breaches. For the first time in his career, he felt fear. "Commander," an officer said, his voice trembling, "the humans. They've won this battle." Xiron glared at the projection of Earth, his expression dark. "They may have won, but this isn't over." Back on Earth, Maria collapsed, her strength drained. Hayes caught her as the sphere dimmed, its energy spent. Around the world, the connection faded, leaving humanity united not by the sphere, but by their shared victory. The holographic figure reappeared, its form flickering. "You have done what no other species has accomplished. The Empire will retreat, but their return is inevitable." Maria, weak but defiant, looked up. "Then we'll be ready." The sole warning. The Empire's fleet retreated, limping back to the vastness of space, their systems crippled by the pulse of chaos humanity had unleashed. On Earth, the aftermath was bittersweet. Cities lay in ruins, the planet's magnetic field flickered with instability, and millions grieved their losses. Yet, amidst the devastation, humanity stood united like never before. Maria awoke in a makeshift medical tent near the Antarctic cavern. The sphere, now inert, sat in the corner like a dormant guardian. Colonel Hayes stood nearby, his expression a mix of relief and concern. "You're awake," he said softly. "You did it." Maria's voice was hoarse. "The Empire's gone." "For now," Hayes replied. "But not before they left us a parting gift." In orbit, the remnants of the Empire's fleet had activated a self-destruct mechanism. Debris rained down on Earth, igniting fires in forests and urban centers. But one piece of wreckage stood out: a large, intact module that crashed into the Pacific Ocean. It sent a shockwave through the water, creating massive tsunamis. But the true danger lay hidden within the module. As recovery efforts began, Maria was summoned to a global council convened in a secret bunker. Leaders from every major nation sat around a massive table, their faces pale. A technician projected an image of the wreckage in the Pacific. "This module isn't just debris," he explained. "It's emitting a signal." Maria leaned forward, her pulse quickening. "What kind of signal?" The technician hesitated. "It's a warning, or a summons." The holographic figure, still present within the sphere, reactivated as Maria returned to the Antarctic cavern. Its once calm demeanor was now urgent. "The Empire has left a beacon," it said. "It transmits a message not to their allies, but to their enemies." Maria frowned. "Enemies? Who are they warning?" The figure's light grew dim. "The Empire fears what lies beyond the galactic core. In their retreat, they have marked your planet as a shield, a barrier between themselves and the forces they dare not face." The message from the beacon was eventually decoded. It was short and ominous. "To all who hear this, Earth is chaotic, unpredictable, and relentless. Approach with caution. But if you must, it is the gateway to destruction." Maria read the message aloud to the council. Silence followed, broken only by the hum of the holographic figure. "They've used you," it said. "Earth is no longer just a battleground. It's a warning sign, a trap for their enemies. And you're the bait." As humanity began to rebuild, strange phenomena occurred. Ancient sites across the world, Stonehenge, the pyramids, even submerged cities, began to reactivate. Maria, driven by a gnawing curiosity, visited one such site in the Amazon. There, she encountered technology far older than the Empire's, pulsing with a faint, familiar energy. The holographic figure appeared again, this time unprompted. "These relics are the remnants of another age. Your world has been marked before, long before the Empire set its sights on you." Maria ran her fingers over the glowing symbols etched into the ancient structure. What happened to them? The figure's response sent chills down her spine. They defied what lies beyond, and they were erased. Above Earth, a new presence began to stir, a faint distortion in the fabric of space, growing stronger with each passing hour. The sphere reactivated, its glow dim but urgent. It pulsed in synchronization with the ancient sites, as if trying to connect them. Maria stared at the distortion through a telescope. It wasn't a fleet. It was something far worse. A rift. "What's coming through?" she whispered. The holographic figure replied, its tone devoid of its usual confidence. "Not all who heed the beacon come to destroy. Some come to feed." Earth's newfound unity faced its ultimate test as the rift grew larger. The Council scrambled to prepare defenses, but Maria knew that conventional weapons wouldn't suffice. The answer lay in the sphere and the ancient relics scattered across the planet. "We need to reconnect the sites," she told Hayes. "The sphere was part of something bigger. It's not just a weapon. It's a key." "To what?" Hayes asked. Maria met his gaze. "To whatever they left us to survive." As teams worked to reactivate the ancient sites, the rift finally opened. From its depths emerged a creature unlike anything humanity had ever seen. Its form was fluid, shifting, and its presence warped the very air around it. It wasn't just a predator. It was a harbinger. Maria stood in the Amazon as the final relic powered up. The sphere, now fully synchronized, sent a pulse of energy through the network, creating a planetary shield. The creature recoiled, but it wasn't defeated. It circled the barrier, testing its strength. "This is only the beginning," the holographic figure said. "You have delayed the inevitable. But to survive what lies beyond, your species must evolve further."